Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with another process video. This is going to be of the farm and I'm going to do one 12 by 12 layout and this pocket page. And that's all of one wheat harvest that we did a couple years ago. And I had printed out the photos but never got around to scrapbooking it. So I pulled out this crepe paper DIY paper pad because I loved that John Deere green piece of paper in there. And it also had a lot of papers with golden yellow tones, which would work well for the wheat. So I'm just going to pull a bunch of those out, and I didn't really have much in mind when I started this. I was just kind of going with the colors and seeing where it led me. So I go down a couple, routes that I abandon, but it comes together in the end. So here I'm just pulling out all the things that I think I might want to use. I do want a light colored background on there, and so I know I'm going to use one of these papers as a background. So I decide to go with more of a ledger paper. So I look at that one, and then I go with this one that has more golden tones in the background. And I do want my photo all the way over on the right. I pull out all my wheat paraphernalia. I have one stamp and 3 die cuts. Also pull out a bunch of Project Life cards so that I can use them also in the pocket pages and have continuity between them. And my thought process was, I love that green paper, and since my photo is an oversized photo and it's a large rectangle, that I would soften the whole layout down by making a large circle of this green for the background, so that it would, give me some curved edges and take away from all the linear boxiness. So I do this, and it probably would have been fine had my photo been smaller, but because the photo covers up so much of this circle, even when I'm cutting it this large, it just didn't seem to work for me. And this won't go to waste. I'll use it on a different layout because I have a lot of different harvests, barley harvest, bean harvest, all that kind of stuff. And we have a lot of John Deere green equipment. So I know it'll get used, but I wanted to go ahead and leave this in, just kind of showing you, my thought process through this whole layout. So as you can see, it kind of covers up a lot of the circle. But I try to make it work, so I leave it like this. And then I pull out these jelly bean soup frames, and I really like these, especially because there's enough of them I can put some over in the pocket pages for continuity, but it brings in a little bit of natural color. So I just pick out one that doesn't have a cutout in the bottom. And then I pull a few of these Project Life cards. Now this one, I gravitated toward it mostly because it has a circle that's going off the right hand edge, just like my green circle. So I go with this for a while, but it's just a gray color, and it kind of brings the layout down. So I do wind up, when I get rid of the green circle, I wind up abandoning this gray Love This card as well. But for now, I'm going to keep going in this direction. I love that Project Life card with all the arrows. I love the rainbow color. I love how it just instantly, brightens up the layout and makes it cheery. And we do our wheat harvests in July usually, or August, so it's always hot in the 90s, 100 degrees. And so I really wanted this to reflect, a hot sunny day. So now I'm taking some of the yellow papers out of that paper pad and cutting them down to fit through my sidekick. And my thought process here was I was going to use all 3 of my wheat dies, and I was going to put the biggest ones in front, the medium in the middle, and the smallest in the back to give a depth of field, so it would feel like you were standing there, with the wheat closest to you, looking into the layout. As it got farther and farther away, the wheat got smaller. But then I cut these here, and I just fell in love with this size. It was so beautiful, and I thought, what, I better pace myself on using my wheat supplies, because I have, a lot of farm layouts to do, so I don't want to use my full bag of themed stuff all on the first layout kind of thing. So I thought I would just go with this, so I cut it on several different colors of yellow paper just to give some different shading and texture on there. And so here's where I took a break and I took away the green circle and I swapped out that gray card for this one with the red sunshine on it, and I just like this a lot better. It's just brighter and more airy and more colorful. So I'm just going to go ahead and embrace all the square lines and then use only the sun and the arrows and stuff for my circular items. So now I'm going to go ahead and place the wheat. I want some on top, some poking out behind, and I'm going to put my journaling inside the wood grain frame. And I like that all the project life cards and the background paper all have like lines or grids on them. So that gives a sense of continuity between all these different products as well, because I'm using stuff from all different lines and all different ages here. I'm just pulling from my stash. So I went ahead and stuck the frame down by just putting a strip of double-sided tape down the middle. That will allow me to still be able to tuck the wheat behind it. And then I'm grouping some of the wheat together in small groups so that I can move them around as one block. Just kind of tacking them together in a few places just to make it a little easier to maneuver them, because they are kind of delicate. And yeah, I really love they cut out and they came out of the die really easy. And I think these were ones I got at AliExpress a long time ago. I've never seen any others like them. And I love the size of them and how easy they were to work with. So I'll definitely be using a lot more of these throughout my whole farm scrapbook. So I go ahead and I get the wheat put down here, and I do save one stalk back because I don't know if I'm going to need it somewhere else if I do a secondary cluster or whatever. So I don't put them all on here right now, but I do go ahead and put my little groupings down. And this photograph was one we had taken. We're almost done combining the field, and we had the drone up, so it's a still from some drone footage. So that was pretty cool. And then I found this card, which I liked that it had still the rainbow of colors and it had arrows, so it echoed the one that I already have on the page. So I'm just going to make my little secondary cluster up here. And then this little flag I cut off. It's the back side of that round arrow card there. On the back they have a wood grain Polaroid frame, actually, kind of like the Jelly Bean Soup one there, and it had this banner on it. So I just cut the banner off and put it onto my frame, and then the rest of the card I'm going to punch out these arrows and use them singly around the page, because you know when you get Project Life cards they give you like 1 million copies of each, so I don't feel bad cutting them up and using them in different ways. So I go ahead and I think about, I want to put arrows on those 2 up at the top that didn't have arrows, and I'll use them almost like flare buttons, you know, and place them around the page. Now this is a large, I believe it's Mambi stickers, and I had purchased them. I think they're for the front of your album, Mambi sticks, and I purchased them not to use on the outside of the album, but to use in my scrapbook layout. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one in half and use it for my title. And I wanted something that would be clear and span that more open space, but not cover up that that's part of the field. So I'm liking that, and I like that the words like this awesome, they are backed with white, so they're not, the words themselves are pretty opaque or not opaque, and they're solid, and then the background is the clear sticker. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead and put these arrows up on a little bit of foam tape. And then the last thing I'm going to go through is this book, and they have a bunch of clear stickers here too. I wanted to stay with clear stickers, but I thought I'd go ahead and give it just a little touch of gold. I do wind up putting a couple of these down and pulling them up and change it around. Like this one I put here, and then I put this one at the base of my title. And then it looked, I put another one on there and it just looked like too many long sentences, so I will change a couple out here in a second. So I find these little hearts, I put the orange one by the orange arrow, the green one by the green arrow. Now they don't have a yellow heart. So I'm looking for a sentiment that I could put by that yellow arrow. And there's a lot in this sticker book. It's going to take me forever to use it. Yeah, so I put that one, and there just seemed to be too many lines of text. It just bothered me, all, you know, kind of stacked haphazardly. So I go ahead and I take that off and I look through for something else I can put there. And I find it like a stacked piece of text. Instead of a left to right several words, it's more stacked. And I'm just going to put it between the two hearts. And I think that just seems a little better. So there, I put that. So now there's just one thing and it's some stacked text. And I just like how that flows a little bit better. I put this green arrow down here where my wheat bunches together, and then that sprig of wheat that I had held back, I wanted to bring it up toward the title to kind of integrate everything together so it just barely touches the title. And then that is my completed layout. I just go ahead and I do my journaling inside the frame, and then I call it done. And I love how it turned out so bright and cheery and colorful. There's John Deere green, but not too much in there because I don't want my whole album to turn green just because we have so much green equipment. And so there are the arrows. There's the big Mamby Sticks title, some of the wheat die cuts, a few little gold labels, and the frame. And yeah, I'll just use some of these over on my pocket pages, and I'll do that in the next video. But if you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you next time.